everybody here today. Closer, even closer, okay. Closer, I'm gonna eat it. All right, my name is Vivian Nyitray. I work for the University of California, but I'm speaking to you here today as a private citizen. I've been involved in international education for 45 years. And what I see today really disturbs me. I'm really concerned about attempts to dismantle our American system of education. Years ago, when I was a student, I lived for 2.5 years in a country under martial law. The government at that time tolerated only one language. History books didn't mention events that the government didn't want people to know about. And my mail from home was open and censored. Years later, I was a teacher and administrator in another country, where I was subject to round-the-clock surveillance and where I was asked to report on my students to the police. Government officials showed up at my office to demand that I change the content of what I was teaching. Every day, I saw that education and creativity were sacrificed for ideological indoctrination and conformity, and the lines between patriotism and propaganda were erased. I never imagined that I would see these things in my country, but I do. I see proposed funding cuts to programs that benefit schools, teachers, and students at all levels. And it's not just direct budget cuts to schools and teacher training programs. It's threats to programs like SNAP. Because if students of any age are hungry, they cannot learn. I see government efforts to undermine public schools to support vouchers instead of funding a first-rate education for every single one of our kids, all our kids. I see some state and local governments cheered on by our federal government, banning books, rewriting textbooks to whitewash our history, ignore science, and deny our students the truth that they deserve. I'm a first-generation college student. I work very hard at any job I could find, 2 or 3 at a time sometimes, to get where I am. But I have help from federally funded grants and subsidized loans. And I see the current, made a big difference in my life. I see the current administration's desire to close the Department of Education and shift the management of student loans to the Small Business Administration, and I'm horrified. Education is not a business. It's an investment in our future. I'm also experiencing what it's like to live in a country where freedoms of speech, of assembly, a free press, and the ability to know the past and thus learn from it were forbidden. In such a country, education isn't meant to open people's minds. It's a tool used by a repressive government to maintain political power and control. That's the stuff of dictatorship, and we don't want it here. I'm an American citizen who's proud to stand up for our students, our kids, and our future. I ask you to stand with me. Stop the threats. Stop the cuts. Stop the suspension of programs. And stop the willful destruction of our American educational system. We need to say, hands off education.